Right. I ain't been very well, can you tell? I was planning on getting up here just after Christmas, in between then and New Year. It's currently 30th, so we are technically in between Christmas and New Year, but I wanted to come up here, I don't know, maybe Boxing Day and have a little bit of a mooch around and, you know, do a little bit of tidying and a little bit of clearing up while I've got some time off work. But yeah, but today up here I'm going to come in, I'm going to get stuck in, I'll show you what I want to my plan. The plan is a new path. A bit barren, haven't we? So I've got these perennial beds. I've got obviously my asparagus there and there, and then I've got two raspberry beds there and there. We're actually due quite a bit of cold weather, so I want to get these cut back and get them mulched over, obviously to protect all the crowns and the roots and stuff, because in some, they said in some rural areas could go down to sort of -6, -7, so obviously I want to protect them as much as I can. And then over here, obviously I've got the burn bin, and I've got quite a bit of rubbish, like quite a bit of wood, timber, which I've stripped out, and I've got this accumulated, so get the fire on. Then yeah, I bought a soup with me in a pan as well, so hopefully I can, if I've got enough stuff and I can generate enough heat, I'll drop a little grid in the barn, put the pan in there, hopefully get the soup on as well. So yeah, that's right, let's crack on, because I ain't getting no shorter, is it? Right, so let me just take you through what I've done, because there's a hell of a lot of people that on an allotment are having fires, and all you seem to see is just smoke on top of smoke. Right, the first thing I'd recommend, if you've got an allotment and you're allowed to have fires on there and you're planning on having a few, get yourself a barrel, drill a load of holes in it. You can probably buy a cutter, you're obviously going to need a drill some holes in it. You might, like garages and stuff like that, they can't give these things away, so you went round there. Oh, I've cut the lid off of mine. I mean, it depends how far you want to go. You cut the lid off, man, you bang a few holes in it, you'll be able to have a fire in there. Obviously mine, I've drilled quite a lot of holes in there, because the more air you can get in there, the better. And then when I've cut the lid off, I've flared the lid a little bit like that, as you can see. I've like flared it out so it will go back on, and then I've just put a handle on there, so I can, when I'm done, I can put it back on the top, and it stops it getting full of water. So yeah, basically I've got a load of, see, I'm lucky here because all these ash trees, they drop little stick like branches like no tomorrow, so I can take some of them, cut them down. Anything that's a little bit wet, I've put that's a little bit, seems like it's a little bit damper, I've put at the bottom. And then I've basically built it smaller and drier as I've gone up. So the stuff that's obviously been undercover or I've kept out the weather a little bit, and it's drier, I've put on the top. And then, like I said, I've used one match and one fire lighter, and once this gets going, there'll be no smoke. So then hopefully I'll be able to put the soup on the top of it when it's down to embers. Yeah, and that's it. So if you have got an allotment, get yourself one of these, right? Because at the end of the day, once it's Well, we've got like a window, I think it's between the end of October and the end of March, where you can actually have a fire. And then you can literally just wheel the bin out the way, put it on the side, and if you only burn stuff that's like branches and stuff that hasn't been treated, that hasn't got anything on there, then obviously then you can just use the wood ash on your beds. So yeah, that's it. Right, I'm gonna let that get going, and then yeah, I'm gonna move on to clearing some of the beds while that's doing its thing. This is the best part of the day. So what I've done is I've just got an old piece of mesh which I've got lying around, which I'm hoping is not just going to warp with the heat and fall in. This is only really thin gauge mesh, and then I've put a piece of slate on there, which I've got to be honest, he's popping and banging a bit. It doesn't sound like he's very happy about being on there. You hear that? So I don't know whether it's because it's... I know sometimes they say with like some primitive cooking, when they use rocks, they make sure they use dry ones when they're heating them up in a fire because they can explode. I hope this ain't one of them situations where that's going to do the same and the soup's going to end up in the water, in the fire. But it might just have a bit of moisture and it might just be trying to sort itself out a little bit. But then, yeah, only the best. I'm going to put him on there, see how we go. Might work, might not. That slate might explode. It might end up in the fire with the wood, but we'll see. I'm willing to take my chances at this minute in time. I'm starving. Guys, this is something I've said on a previous video, but this is just something I like to do before I mulch my beds. Put the trowel down the edge there, and I just basically clean the compost away from the edge of the boards. Two reasons for that. First one is it'll make the boards last a lot longer because some air can circulate around there, so it'll stop them rotting off. And the second one is just to reduce slug habitat during the winter. So yeah, I'll do that there, and I'll normally just go around the outside, pull it in, and then just flick it into the middle. And then during the summer I'm not so bothered once I've redone it and I've planted the beds and stuff. But yeah, during the winter it's just something I like to do. Good. So I grew these geraniums, hardy geraniums, last year. Potted them up. I grew them from seed, potted them up, and then neglected them. So I'm gonna chance it. I'm putting them in. I'm potting them up. They're going in. And I've also dug out this lupin, which was growing in the path. I mean, look at the roots on that thing. which I'm going to pot up, and this little oak tree growing up, which was here, which has been growing there all year, and I've left it, and now it's gone dormant. I've dug it out, and I'm going to pot him up as well. So I've had a nice productive day in the finish. Managed to have a good clear up. I burnt all the rubbish. I say the rubbish, all the wood I had kicking around, and all the odds and sods that's out the bushes that just fell down. What else did I get to do? I've cleared all my perennial beds. I've cleared the asparagus and I've cleared the raspberries. They're all cut down now, and I've put some compost down, and then there was some grass that was dropped at the top of the drive, and it had loads of leaves mixed in there, so it's almost like a 50-50 mix. So it's perfect really for a mulch. It's been up there for like, I don't know, a month maybe, and nobody's took it. So I've had 2 barrows of that, and I've mulched over the top of the beds. And at the same point, I have I've cracked open one of the compost bays, which was the compost was finished, and just off camera I've gone round and I've mulched all the beds that haven't had any compost on there, because like I said, it's meant to be going really cold over the next couple of days, or the next week. Apparently we've got a real cold spell coming in, so anywhere where I've harvested stuff and the beds are bare and the soil's bare, I just wanted to get something on the top of them to obviously protect the soil, because soil health is everything, people. It's healthy soil, healthy plants, less pests. That's what they reckon. That's the science. So I'll take you around quick, and I'll just show you what I've done, because I want to get wrapped up and I got to go ice skating. So there's all my 2 asparagus beds at the front, my 2 autumn raspberries. These are, by the way, that's why I've cut them down in the winter, right to the ground. And obviously the summer raspberries, you'll prune them slightly different. And then at the very end I've got a little triangle bed just to the corner, which I've actually got as like a flower bed. So I had some geraniums that I had left over. I've put those straight in the middle of that bed. So hopefully the spring bulbs will come up, they'll have their little flower show, the spring bulbs will go down, and then some of the geraniums, and then I'll plant some that I'll start from seed in the start of the year in there, so I've got some summer colour. What else did I do? So I've done this bed. He's had a nice bit of fresh compost on. This bed with the garlic in, I put some fresh compost on that half when I actually put the garlic in. I did this bed as well, but it looked a little bit thin, so I've put a little bit more on. Could still see a little bit of bare soil. I've done this one here. I've done the very end of that one here, because obviously I had something in there, so I couldn't do it before. I've done where the carrot hedge is. I've done where the parsnips were. I've done this bed, and I don't want to show you too much of that because that's a different video, but yeah, this bed that had it's got my rhubarb in, and then what I've done is in the front, you can just see them, they're starting to poke up. This one's actually got a little flower on, this one has. I planted a load of snowdrops, so my thought being that the snowdrops come up on the front of the bed there, just as the rhubarb will start sprouting. They'll be coming up at the same sort of time, sort of, I don't know, February time, early part of the year. And then at the back I've got some alliums planted, so the rhubarb grows in, shades out the I don't know where the snowdrops are at the front, and then the alliums grow at the back, so I can still see them, so still a bit of a pretty show. So yeah, that's it. So, yeah, right, I'm going to lock up anyway. So it's New Year's Eve tomorrow, so if this one comes out before then or just after then, have a good New Year. I will be absolutely steamboated, more than likely. So yeah, enjoy. See you next week.